What did Fauci do to need a pardon? What did he do, punk?
It's a Fox News alert. President Biden, this just came across, just issues new pardons for Dr. Anthony Fauci. You could call these preemptive pardons. Dr. Anthony Fauci, retired four-star general Mark Milley. This just happened moments ago. It also includes the members of Congress and staff who served on the Select Committee and the U.S. Capitol, and D.C. Metropolitan police officers who testified before the Select Committee. This as Trump prepares to take...
What is he pardoning them for? What crime did they commit? Don't you usually pardon someone when they've committed a crime? I don't know.
The oath of office in just a few hours.
Would that include Liz Cheney?
So
what
it's
a mess.
No, it doesn't. I guess, yeah.
Committee?
Yeah, Select Committee.
The whole select.
But what does it say? Mark Milley, who is chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff under both Biden and Trump, you know that 100%. What he's done in the past, you know that he was calling China, trying to putting down President Trump.
I mean, what are they afraid that Pete Hegseth is going to see when he goes to the Defense Department and look at the files and data?
10 days ago, Biden said he will only pardon individuals who committed crimes. Today, he pardoned Fauci, Milley, Cheney, everyone on the January 6th committee.
Also, sir, on pardons, have you ruled out a pardon for yourself or any other additional members of the family?
For myself?
Yes, sir.
What would I pardon myself for?
That's what I'm asking.
No, I have no contemplation of pardoning myself for anything. I didn't do anything wrong.
There's been no talk of going after Anthony Fauci.
Well, Rand Paul is.
There may have been some senators, but the president himself has not said he wants to prosecute
and here's
Anthony Fauci.
Absolutely right. And here's the thing. You pardon somebody who's been convicted.
Right.
They haven't been
There's a
convicted.
confession.
They haven't been charged. Right. This is crazy.
Oh, Scott Jennings found a clip. Let's see. This will be good.
President Trump is reportedly considering a wave of preemptive pardons. Does this concern you? All these preemptive pardons?
Well, it concerns me in terms of what kind of precedent it sets and how the rest of the world looks at us as a nation of laws and justice. You're not going to see in our administration that kind of approach to pardons.
Lies! They filled the earth by lies! When will the lies end?
Nor are you going to see in our administration the approach to making policy by tweets. It's just going to be a totally different way in which we approach the justice system.
It will be interesting to read the exact language, and because it just broke, we haven't seen it yet. But remember, when Hunter Biden was pardoned by his father, the language was extraordinary because it essentially...
Blanket.
We know some things happened during certain time periods, but this was a 10-year window. Anything he did during those 10 years was essentially it was a get out of jail free card. So it'll be interesting to see the language, the perimeters of what time we're talking about, and what it talks about, what he has pardoned them from.
I mean, what
has that ever happened?
4 hours away
but how
from
is
the presidency?
Lawrence,
you see Maria
has it ever
landing right behind us.
Security.
Has it ever happened before that a preemptive pardon was pushed? A preemptive pardon, just in case I do something or you find something. Right.
I'm very curious to see how NBC spins this.
Breaking news: President Biden, in his final hours, his final morning in office, has issued several high-profile pardons.
Among those pardoned this morning, Dr. Anthony Fauci, General Mark Milley.
Nice timing on that.
And the members and staff who served on the House committee that investigated the January 6th attack on the Capitol, including Liz Cheney.
And police officers who have spoken out as well.
Why would you need to pardon them? I can at least grasp the Anthony Fauci one. There's a lot of people who do not like Anthony Fauci and do think he belongs in prison. But the January 6th prosecutors, that seems like a very niche, I feel like I don't hear very many people talk about that.
From the Capitol Police, let's go right to Chief White House Correspondent Peter Alexander. This just broke 10 minutes ago. Peter, what do you know?
Savannah, as NBC News first reported, President Biden, even yesterday, I'm told, was very seriously considering using this extraordinary presidential power to preemptively pardon some individuals. And this morning, as we are reporting, it is clear that he has decided to do just that in these final hours in office to guard against any potential revenge by the incoming Trump administration.
Revenge for what? See, sometimes they say things and and maybe they don't hear themselves, but again, revenge for what? What did they do to Trump that he would want revenge for?
By the incoming President Trump. President Biden just announcing, as you note, that he is pardoning Dr. Anthony Fauci, retired General Mark Milley, and members of the House committee that investigated the January 6th attack on the Capitol. That includes Liz Cheney, Adam Schiff, Adam Kinzinger, among others, as well as Capitol and D.C. police who testified before that committee. I want to share with you part of what the president writes. He says, in part, our nation relies on dedicated, selfless public servants every day. They are the lifeblood of our democracy. Yet alarmingly, he adds, public servants have been subjected to ongoing threats and intimidation for faithfully discharging their duties. Notably, his last comments in this statement add that these pardons, he says, should not be mistaken as an acknowledgement that any individual engaged in any wrongdoing, he says, nor should acceptance by them be misconstrued as any admission.
Then why would you be afraid of them being prosecuted? It'd have to be proven in court that they did something wrong, correct?
Of guilt for any offense. He says our nation, quote, owes these public servants a debt of gratitude for their tireless commitment to our country. Now, let's back up for a moment. President Trump, incoming President Trump, as you know, has been a fierce critic and has really railed against so many of those individuals that are receiving these pardons today. Most recently, in late December of last year, Donald Trump verbally attacked Liz Cheney, saying that she committed, quote, egregious and unthinkable acts of crime. That was December 22nd, less than a month ago. Of Mark Milley, in the past, he suggested that he deserved execution, and the fact that some of the actions he had taken in the past would have been worthy of execution. So to be clear, Joe Biden, some of his final actions now to preemptively pardon some of those high-profile figures. Savannah?
There were sometimes explicit, sometimes implicit threats, serious threats against Liz Cheney, Mark Milley, and others by Trump or by members of his team. So this pardon potentially has real-life consequences for these individuals.
It absolutely does. When I interviewed President-elect Trump in December, he was quite clear. He
I'll link to that interview up above.
said, I think members of the January 6th committee should go to jail. He did not mince words. I said, you think Liz Cheney should go to jail? He said, yes. Never said what the crime was, by the way, and since then has not laid out the crime. What's notable is that you have committee members like Liz Cheney, like Senator Adam Schiff saying, we didn't do anything wrong. We don't want a pardon. But here's the key thing to know. Once the president issues these pardons, that's it. You don't get to reject it. The pardon is there. And so this is a significant historic moment because it speaks to the concerns about the threats of legal repercussions that the January 6th committee and all of the other folks, General Mark Milley, might be facing. Remember that tweet? You said not sometimes threats very clear against Mark Milley, saying that he should, in effect, be executed for treason. So this is a significant moment because I think it does underscore the very real concerns about what might happen.
And again, how all of this unfolding in just the last 10 minutes, I know we don't probably have a great deal of reaction from some of these folks who've been pardoned yet, but are we hearing anything at all from?
A little bit. I can tell you that I just spoke with somebody connected to the events of January 6th who is subject to receiving this pardon, who said that it was one of the lines that President Biden talked about, that these individuals did nothing wrong, that really resonated with this person who only found out about this sort of through the grapevine, has not officially heard from the White House yet, just in the overnight hours here. So to your point, Craig, this is all moving quickly. It is not altogether unexpected. Kristen talks about this being a significant legal point, a significant legal milestone. It is also significant politically. Remember that one of the things that Democrats campaigned on for months was this idea that President-elect Trump, who was then a candidate, could enact political revenge on people he considered quote-unquote enemies. Remember that his incoming FBI director, if in fact Kash Patel is confirmed, wrote a book and in it put an appendix of dozens of people who he described as members of the deep state, which also raised that concern. Kristen, you're reporting this morning on confirming that there will be more than 50 people who may have their national security clearances revoked because of concerns raised about their involvement in sort of tossing down the Hunter Biden laptop story. So there's a lot here that I think Democrats are concerned about. It's not an unexpected move, but it is a big deal by President Biden.
On a day like this, that rare day when we have two presidents in one day, we have President Biden issuing pardons on the way out. President-elect Trump saying he may issue some pardons on the way in. You hear about executive orders. Just to be clear, this pardon power that the Constitution provides the president is sweeping, it is complete, and it cannot be undone by the next president. So if you're wondering, could President Trump unpardon those pardons today?
No.
No. The answer is no.
Let's see what people are saying on X. Chamath from the All In podcast is saying, if you weren't sure who the deep state were, they all got pardoned today.